I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my workbook series, The Knowledge, will help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you about if you push an ex too far. You know, we don't realize how fragile attraction can be and how easy it is to make someone feel pressured and overwhelmed to the point where they want to get away from us. And a lot of times we're pushing people not because we mean to, but because we want to feel connected to them. And what I've learned over the years is that this has a huge correlation to our self-esteem, our attachment issues, and our mental health. And the more secure we are as a person, the more we realize that we have to be accountable for how we treat people. And we can get so overwhelmed with this fear of losing that person that it just feels so overwhelming. We feel like we're drowning. We feel like we're dying without them, that we just become very selfish and self-absorbed. One of the things about anxiety is that it puts us in a state where we lose a lot of empathy for the other person, what their needs are, what their wants are, and we really only care about ourselves. The more anxious you are, the more you're only thinking about yourself. Now, I'm sure this is tied to our biology and our drive to survive, right? It's a biological instinct. Stay close to that person, and I feel safe. If I get too far away from the people that I care about, I'm going to die. But if you think about it, it really shows how resilient you are, how much you can take care of yourself. I really think that the more that we show we can handle ourselves, that we can handle life, the more attractive we are. When you present to your partners and the people that you're dating that you can handle things, that you can handle life, they don't see you as somebody that they have to take care of, like a child. They see you as a partner, or they see you as somebody who takes care of them. And if you think about it, one of our primary instincts is survival. So when you show to someone that I can handle anything that comes my way, I'm a survivor, it makes them feel like, oh, well, you're more trustworthy as a person because if I need you to survive, you can help me. You can help keep me alive. There's all kinds of things that go on in our unconscious that I'm sure are tied to attraction and why we have to present these attractive traits. Now, obviously, the world is very different than what it was even thousands of years ago, and so we don't need some of those things like we used to. However, I think it's really in our biology and our primal instincts to see certain behaviors as attractive or unattractive. And unfortunately, what we don't realize is that when we are presenting a lot of anxiety, it looks like we can't survive. It looks like we can't handle life. And it causes people to become unattracted to us. And that's why we're always trying to teach you guys and educate you guys on improving your mental health, improving your self-esteem, and presenting to other people attractive behaviors and traits. Okay? So I've got a good email coaching that talks about what happens when you push an ex too far. Unfortunately, that anxiety overwhelms us and it causes us to push. There tends to be a correlation there that the more anxious you are, the more you're trying to reconnect with somebody and the more that it pushes them away. But things happen when you do that. And unfortunately, we have consequences, right? People don't want to accept consequences in life, but we have consequences for our behaviors. If you keep showing up late to work, they're probably going to let you go, right? If you're not performing at your job, they're probably going to look for somebody else to replace you. There are consequences, just like in romantic relationships, okay? So the good news is that we can change those things. We can learn the attractive things, but you got to put in the work. If you're stuck on no contact videos, you're not going to learn the skills that you can. And it's easy to see that on our channel, the videos with the lowest amount of views tend to be the ones focused on personal growth. I cannot stress this enough, but I understand how human beings work, and I know how you guys operate. So that's why I keep trying to get you to see. I try and get you to see from other people's perspectives on people that make mistakes, and I try and share the success stories on the people that do things right. Okay, I did all this work. I've spent years and years and years understanding this stuff well before we launched the channel, well before we put out any videos, because divorce, breakups had such a huge effect on my life that I wanted to understand why this happened and what we could do, because what do we value more than our connections, especially with our romantic partner? Maybe your relationship with your children, but it's a different dynamic and it requires a different set of skills and abilities and behaviors. So today I've got an email coaching from a couple in their early to mid-20s that were dating for about 4 months. The families were involved with the courtship. Now, I know that is a cultural thing because we talk to people all around the world. I talk to people all around the world every day and every week, and I love that. So I know there are cultural differences, but when you get families involved too soon, it really does make things messy because you're trying to figure out if I like you first and you like me first. We don't need a whole bunch of people butting in. Unfortunately, it's not like that everywhere in the world. They said, I would spend weekends with him and his family and vice versa, and everything was going great. But then we started having arguments. Each argument, I would try and talk with him about it, but every time I would try, he would get silent and not say anything. Okay, so remember, they've only been dating a few months now, and they're already having arguments, and this guy is shutting down. This is major red flags of what is likely to come. You're trying to connect, you're trying to resolve, but he's not shutting down. And you need to make sure that this is someone that can handle the complications of life before you marry and spend your life with them. He ended up breaking up with me over text in the fall. I was being controlling, and his mental health was not good. He was losing sleep, and he thought it was best we went our separate ways. Imagine how devastating it would be for her. They're talking about a future. They're talking about marriage. Now, mind you, and obviously I don't think it's the best idea to do this, but in different cultures, I'm sure there is a lot of social pressure. But look at what's going on here. I was being controlling. Well, there's probably some truth to that. She was probably anxious. That's a feeling that I got. And his mental health was not good. That's probably true. So why is he losing sleep? What's going on there? I'd want to know why he was losing sleep. But he's out. He's saying, I think we should go our separate ways. I didn't accept it. I didn't accept that it was actually over between us. So I reached out wanting answers as to why it was happening. Now, you could understand why she would feel like that. Who wouldn't feel like that? I would feel like that. You would feel like that. You can't shut that off of wanting to know, why is this happening? You said you wanted a future. Now you're giving up this easily? But unfortunately, that anxiety causes us to pressure and push on our ex. After the breakup, he was like, we can be friends. And of course, in a state of anxiety, I tried to get him back by accepting the offer of being friends with him. Now, I wouldn't accept that for a lot of different reasons, which we go into detail in other videos. But basically, if you're not going to be happy with friendship, which obviously you're not in this case, you were thinking about marrying this person or exploring that idea, you're not going to want to be just friends. So we were friends for about a week, and we were trying to work things out between us. So which is it? He was trying to be friends and you were trying to work things out? Probably. But then after a week or so, he said, I just don't think this is healthy for us to be friends anymore. And I agree. It's not healthy to be with somebody in a friendship when you really want to be in a romantic relationship with them. It won't allow you to move on. It won't allow them to miss you. It won't allow them to value you and see if they're making a mistake. A lot of reasons. So I continued to reach out to him by email. And every time I would do that, he would reach out to me. I think she means reply. But not in the way I expected. She didn't say how. Well, she says, he would get mad at me for reaching out. Okay, so he says he doesn't want to be with you. And you're probably still so shocked and confused because all of a sudden you're talking about marrying and you got all the families involved. And next thing you know, he's telling you he doesn't want to do it. And he's kind of giving you some vague reasons why. And you're surprised that he's getting mad at you for reaching out, which is totally understandable, right? You don't know this stuff till you come to the channel, but it doesn't surprise me. I sent him an email a couple months later saying I would give him another chance. Okay, so this probably confused him, okay? Because out of nowhere, you're saying to him, well, I'll give you another chance, but he's probably thinking, why are you saying you'll give me another chance? I'm not asking for another chance. And he's already been angry at you when you reached out. But again, this is the anxiety, and it causes us to push our ex. Had you backed off and give him some space, he probably could have calmed down and thought about it. And maybe he would have processed what's going on with him, why he's having sleepless nights, why he's stressed out, why he's overwhelmed. And he could have got back to you and you could have talked about it. That's when I received an email from him saying in all caps, this is rough, please leave me, my family and friends alone. I will never give you another chance. We are done. Goodbye and God bless. That's brutal. And I'm going to read between the lines here and guesstimate that she was probably doing some more pressuring than we didn't hear about here. It certainly probably went into more detail than what she explained. But this is a pretty hostile response. I'm going to read it again. This is in all caps, mind you. Please leave me, my family and friends alone. So that probably means she was reaching out to his friends and family, right? Otherwise, why is he bringing it up, accusing her? He's doing it in an accusatory way. And listen, I've made this mistake before. I've openly talked about it. I was talking to the Applebee's mom and sister and brother-in-law and stepfather. I get it. You don't know this stuff when you first come to the channel. We learn the hard way. But that's why I try and always put out as many warnings as I can so you guys see these mistakes. And that's why I have two videos on the top 10 breakup sins. One is on the main channel and one is on the Breakup Essentials channel. And I think that one has Coach Victoria with me because I thought it was really important to cover the top 10 mistakes that we see. So make sure you watch that one. It can avoid a lot of pain and suffering. I haven't reached out to him since I received that email. I decided to give him space. Do you think he will come back eventually, or is it actually over between him and I? Okay, so obviously that was a pretty harsh text message. He could be depressed. He could be irritable. People that are depressed are often irritable. He could just be feeling pressured in the moment. So maybe he will calm down and process things. But for me, this is really telling that the families were involved very early on. I think it was probably overwhelming him. I think there's more to the story than he hasn't told you. I don't know what it could be. My guess is around his family, or maybe your family, or maybe just you. Maybe it was your behavior, because I do get a sense that you have a lot of anxiety here. You never know what's going to happen. But for me, because this was so early in the relationship, and for him to get so hostile here and shut down so quickly, I think you got to be careful. Even if he does reach out, you need to make sure that he's going to be able to handle life. You need to make sure that he can be a good partner for you in the long run, because life is difficult. You lose friends, you lose family, people get sick, you lose pets, you lose jobs. There's a lot of loss. There are a lot of challenges. People get anxious, people get depressed. There are so many things that can happen in life. And if you have a partner that is struggling with their mental health, they tend to walk away easier. They cut off the relationship because sometimes that's the only thing they can cut off. So I think for you, it's more important for you to take a look at how maybe you showed up, what you may have been doing to turn him off or push him away. If you were doing things to turn him off and push him away, what was going on with him and his mental health? Take a step back and evaluate. Maybe you'll think, oh, you know what? Now I remember why he said he wasn't sleeping at night. Maybe some things will come to you as your anxiety calms down. So I think it's more important for you to figure out if he will be a good partner for you than if it's actually over for good. I know that anxiety wants that answer, but leave him alone. You can see what happens when we push. Now, obviously, there are a lot of people out there that push way more than she did in this situation. But always focus on the personal growth. The Creative Healing Course, 30 minutes a day. The Knowledge Workbooks, 30 minutes a day. You will feel the changes. You will feel better. You will learn the skills. You'll learn so much, and you will have healthier relationships, either re-attract somebody or to date new people. Okay, so if you'd like to get my help personally, you could do that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Skype. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and I will talk with you soon.